All right, welcome to this spotlight session. We are going to chat about the lighthouse revolution and the chakras and how they match up. My name is Karen Gunton. For anybody who is new to me and to the lighthouse revolution, I am on a mission to help women be the highest, brightest version of themselves and to live a life that lights them up. And in this spotlight session, I wanted to share with you something that I've been working on for the past 6 or 7 months that I just kind of happened upon. And like one of those things that just kind of shows up in your path and you sort of have no choice but to explore it because it keeps tapping you on the shoulder. So before we get started, I always like to just start out any group session that I'm doing just by taking a moment to get grounded in our intention here together. So if you would join me, please take a deep breath in and imagine a beautiful light inside you, expanding and beaming outwards. And take a deep breath out. And just surrender and let go or release anything that is not of service to your light. And let's please take a moment just to give thanks. Thank you, universe, for bringing us together here today to do the work so that we may stand tall, shine bright, and own our light. May the ideas and the inspiration that are shared here today be of the highest service to our light, so that we may rise up and take the next step on our journey. To everyone who is here with us today, live or watching the recording, thank you for choosing to do the work. Thank you for choosing to shine your light. And so it is. So I hope to share with you some ideas that will help you to go out and shine your light in whatever way you choose. As I said, that is my mission here with the Lighthouse Revolution. And I started talking about the Lighthouse Revolution a while ago, 18 months ago or so. And it started out as being something, the lighthouse was a symbol for me. It was inspired by a quote by Anne Lamont that says, lighthouses don't go running all over an island looking for boats to save. They just stand there shining. And years ago when I came across that quote, it was 2012, I was in a place where I was feeling really stuck and lost. And when I saw that, I had this aha moment where I thought, yes, that is what I want. I want to build a lighthouse. I want to be the lighthouse. I want to stand there shining. I don't want to run around and feel crazed all the time. Not that I don't still do that sometimes, but the lighthouse has been a symbol to me for the work that I'm here to do. And I began sharing it, as I said, about 18 months ago as a symbol that could help others as well. And when I first started developing the lighthouse, I'm just going to pop over to this screen here. When I first started to talk about the lighthouse, I worked out some different components of the lighthouse. And I started in my own journey when I first came across that quote, and by thinking about what it means to light up, what it means to shine, what it means to find your spark again and feel ignited. And I spent quite a lot of time in my business thinking about that. You know, what is my purpose here? What lights me up? You know, what is it that I'm here to do? What are my strengths? What is my zone of genius? And that whole idea around, you know, feeling ignited and on purpose. So to me, sorry, I've got a bit of a cold that I'm fighting. To me, that's what the light represented from the lighthouse. That idea of learning myself and figuring out what I wanted in my life and what my vision for my life was and what my dream was for myself. And I still actually work on this all the time, this idea of igniting your light. So that was the very first symbol from the lighthouse that inspired me. And because I was really doing this in the context of building my business, I began to think of the idea of the beacon as, the message that we send out to others, that idea of beaming our message out to others. And really that's grown to really represent that idea that how we own our light is actually by sharing it with others and by saying out loud, hey world, this is me and this is what matters to me and this is what I'm working on. This is the kind of life that I want. This is what I do. This is my mission. This is my work, and this is my story. So to me, that's really what the beacon represents now, is that idea of, that we're not just here to light up ourselves, but to share that light out with others. And so the beacon is really around that idea of communication and connection with others. And around the same time, I also began to think about the tower. And even before I really thought of it as the tower of the lighthouse, I was still in this place where I was really thinking about the idea of feeling ignited. But as time went on and I thought about my business, I thought, that when you think about the tower of the lighthouse, it stands really tall and upright. It's not wobbly, it's not... the word that always comes to mind for me is alignment and integrity. It stands tall and true and everything, fits well. The opposite of that would be really wobbly and, not very solid. And the idea of the tower is that it's there really to serve the light shining. And so in my life and my business, the tower has become a representation of sort of what we fill our life up with. And what does it serve? Does it serve us? Is it serving the work we're here to do? Does it serve our light, our values, our strengths? And oftentimes we need to go through our tower and we need to declutter and we need to give ourselves permission really to make some changes and to make sure that everything that's there in our tower, in our life, in our business is of service to us and to our light. So for me, I'm sharing these components of the lighthouse in the way that they've unfolded for me. And so it's like as I worked on each bit of it, the next kind of message from the lighthouse would appear. And for a long time, I really just worked on this in the context of my business. The light feeling ignited and on purpose and having that big dream for myself and going after it, and the beacon of sharing my message out to others. And the tower really was about the business itself, my business structure, and did it serve my work? And that was fine for a while, and I did that for a long time, and I talked a lot about what it means to shine your light. And then I got to a point where I was still feeling like there must be something missing, that I still felt like the heart and soul really was missing and there was more to the story. And even though I was prepared to shine, I still felt a bit lost and I was still struggling. And it was actually a friend who I was explaining the lighthouse quote and how it inspired me. And she said, you should talk about that some more. I think there's more to share about the lighthouse. And so I did. And I came back to the lighthouse as a symbol. And I thought, what else could we get from this? What else could we learn from this? And that's where the Lighthouse Revolution was born, when I decided that it was something that was worth sharing with others, this story of the lighthouse. And at that time, I realized that, the tower really was about, what is of service to our work and building that on purpose so that it's tall and true and with integrity and alignment. And then I also began to think about the idea of mindset and, how people say you need to have a strong mindset. You need to believe in yourself. You need to have the confidence. Nobody else will value you if you don't value yourself. And I asked the question, how does one actually build that stuff? And that's what the foundation has come to mean to me. That idea that we need to back ourselves and support ourselves. And we need to build ourselves a foundation on purpose because it doesn't just magically appear. So the foundation to me is about that idea of building yourself up and building your mindset, and really, building you so that you can actually do what it is you want to do. Another symbol that came to me around the same time was the idea of the spiral staircase inside of the lighthouse, which reminds me that each step we take takes us closer to our light, closer to the top, closer to who we are meant to be and the work we're meant to do. And so we need to keep taking action. We need to keep moving. And we need to deal with whatever has us stuck on that journey, whatever is in our way, whatever has us feeling blocked, or that resistance that we have to our own light. We need to actually deal with that stuff, and we need to work through it. We're actually meant to work through it, and we often choose this journey because we are meant to work through it. So that's what the staircase has grown to mean to me. And to be honest, it's actually one of my favorite symbols of the lighthouse. So the final component that sort of came up later is the harbor. And this happened for me when I was in a place where I was really not in a good place, and in sort of a dark place, opposite of light. And I was really struggling and with this idea of teaching about the lighthouse, but I didn't feel very lit up. And I had this understanding one day, somebody said something that just kind of clicked into place, that, it's not actually about shining your light all the time. It's about how quickly you can come back to it when you find yourself in the darkness. And so the harbor to me represents the place where your lighthouse stands, the place where your lighthouse is built. Home, where you're the home of your lighthouse, and you can come back to it at any time. And that, the waves crash in and the storms come and you can find yourself in the darkness, but you can also come back to your light, and the light is the way through. So that's, to me, what the harbor came to represent. And that's the, kind of the most recent component that appeared to me. It was actually just as I was writing my book. It was just before I started writing my book. I still felt like there was something that I was missing. And I had this whole idea of what the harbor represented, come through to me. So that's really kind of made all the pieces fit together. So those are the 6 components of the lighthouse that I was working with and writing about in my book. And then one day, one weekend, I actually went with a friend who was offering a Reiki attunement for Reiki 1. So I thought that sounded pretty cool. And I had been talking with her about deepening my spiritual practice. And I was curious about the whole notion of Reiki and the chakras. And so I went and did that. And after that, I woke up the next day, and it was like this whole, connection between the lighthouse and the chakras just clicked for me. And I could see how they all fit together. And in fact, even in the same order as the lighthouse appeared to me. So I'm just going to quickly go through the chakras. And if you are already familiar with the chakras, you will know about this already. If you're not, and this will be new to you, the idea of the chakras is simply that they're these sort of energetic zones in our body. And Belinda Davidson teaches this great thing around how, we talk about what we focus on becomes reality, thoughts become things. But her idea actually is that our energy is what becomes reality. And that if you want to change your life, or in some of our cases, change our business or change our work, what you need to do is change your energy. And you can heal, your energy through these chakra zones. And so I became really interested in the chakras. And like I said, I could see very clearly a connection between the chakras and the lighthouse. So just to go through the chakras for anybody who is new to them, like I said, these are energetic zones in our body, and there are actually 12 chakras. There are the 6 that are in our body and the 6 sort of that come above our body. And we tend to include the crown in with the other 6 in our body. And then as we clear up the 7 chakras around our body, then those higher chakras also get activated as well. So we're going to stick with these 7 for the purpose of the lighthouse chakra practice. So the crown is sort of at the very top of your head, and it's linked, with your brain and your nervous system. That's the part of the body it's linked with. And the idea with the crown chakra is really around feeling connected spiritually, connecting to source, enlightenment, and sort of that connection with the divine. And it's also around sort of how we know and understand our thoughts. And that crown chakra is generally, as you can see, linked with the color violet. The next chakra down is the third eye chakra, which is sort of linked with the middle of your forehead, behind your eyes. And it is, again, linked, as I said, with your eyes, your head, your brain as well, your ears. That's sort of the body area that it's linked with. And the third eye chakra is all about imagination, perception, awareness, intuition, and that idea of, how we see things. And it's also linked with the color indigo. The next chakra down is the throat chakra, which, of course, is linked with your throat, your neck, your jaw, your teeth, your vocal cords. So that's the part of the body that it's linked with. And your throat chakra, of course, is then linked with expression, communication, the ability to speak your truth and also listen to others. It's around your voice, your individual, authentic voice, honesty, and it's about speaking your truth, your words, and your ability to express yourself. So it's also the color blue. So that is the throat chakra. The heart chakra is, of course, right over your heart, in your chest, also associated with your lungs, your blood, and your circulatory system. And your heart chakra, of course, is about love and giving and receiving love and being open to giving and receiving love, as well as things like compassion, relationships, harmony, forgiveness, acceptance, and also personal development. So the heart chakra, of course, is all about love and is also associated with the color green. The solar plexus chakra is just above your belly button, and it's linked with your stomach and your digestive system and your vitality or energy. And it's really about the sort of your willpower, your drive for success, ambition, that idea of sort of empowerment and confidence, personal power, that sort of thing. So your solar plexus is really about, doing and acting and having that will to go forwards and your actions. And of course, it's associated with the color yellow. The sacral chakra is below your belly button, sort of low on your belly, and it's associated with your reproductive system, your sexual self, and it is really around, pleasure, the flow of life, how we flow with life, creativity, sort of embracing life with passion and drawing into your life what you find pleasurable. And it's around, really around feeling and emotion as well. So that's what the sacral chakra is all about, and it's associated with the color orange. And the lowest chakra is the base chakra, or sometimes called the root chakra. And it's, as you can see, the color red. And it is really around grounding, belonging, safety, security, support, feeling supported. And just that idea that, and also community is another one that it's associated with. And that idea, like, I am where I'm meant to be, this is where I'm meant to be. It's also the body parts that are associated with it are your back, your spine, your legs, and really the health of your physical body. So that's a very quick introduction to the chakras. And I just wanted to go through those quickly. I have a lot more information about the chakras and how they are all really a part of this whole lighthouse that we are building. But to give you an idea now of how they all link up, let's start with the base and what we've just done. So again, I said the base was around that idea of belonging, safety, security, and feeling grounded. And the idea of the harbor, as I mentioned earlier, is that same idea that you can come back home, that it is safe and secure to be here building your lighthouse, and you can come back anytime. And you're exactly where you're meant to be right now. So again, those ideas of feeling grounded and that you belong here and that you're part of a community of other people who are also building their lighthouse. So that sense of community is really strong when we think about the harbor as well, that you have the right to be here and that you belong here with others who are doing this work as well. So the harbor and the base, are really quite connected. Next up is the sacral chakra, which was, as I mentioned, around feeling and emotion, pleasure and creativity, and how we flow with life. And the staircase is really the representation of our journey. And again, how we're flowing through this journey of ours. And I really think that it's an important message actually for people on the journey, and this idea of the staircase of keep stepping, keep taking each step and the next step will appear. And one of the things I think happens is that we get so focused on the destination that we forget that the journey should be as pleasurable as the destination will be. So to me, the sacral chakra actually reminds me that to find the joy in the journey and allow yourself to feel whatever it is you feel and work through whatever it is you need to work through and, feel safe to do that. And to, bring in that sense of joy or curiosity or exploration as you take the journey and try to do it, from a place of fun and pleasure rather than a place of, this is such hard work. And it's really about honoring you and honoring your journey. So I love that message that the sacral chakra adds to the staircase. Next up then is the solar plexus chakra and the foundation. So again, the foundation is all about that idea of backing yourself and building yourself up so that you can shine your light, and that idea of confidence and self-esteem, self-worth, self-respect, and self-empowerment. So it's really about, backing yourself so you can take a step forward and you can do what you're here to do and act. And that idea of having that energy and that fire. And so I love, when you think about that from your solar plexus chakra, it's like right in your stomach and you just rise from that place of strength, straight up from your stomach, and your back kind of straightens and you feel more confident. So I think that's just a beautiful connection between the solar plexus and the foundation. The next up is the heart chakra, again, which was about love. And the way that I see the tower actually is that, your tower is really what you surround yourself with. It's your space and everything that's in your life or your work. And does it serve you? And I always say that what you need to do with your tower is build what you love, build the life you love, build the business that you love, build whatever it is that you're building with love. And with that knowledge of the heart chakra, I've also added that idea that, build what loves your light, what is in service to your light, to who you are in the world. And be open, up to receiving love as much as you are giving love. So the tower really reminds us that it's an act of love, of self-love, to give yourself permission to build your life your way or your business your way. And I love that the heart chakra knowledge adds that element of really focusing on surrounding yourself with a life that you love and things that you love that make up your tower. The throat chakra is next, and that's a perfect match for the beacon, which is all about communication and connection, speaking your truth, owning your truth, and owning your light by sharing it with others and saying, as I said, hey world, this is me. So it really is a perfect match, the throat and the beacon, around speaking your truth and communication and expression, authentic expression. The third eye chakra, as we said, is about really how we see ourselves in the world and our imagination and our vision and our awareness. And the light, the whole idea of igniting your light is really around igniting your purpose and, your vision for yourself, your big dreams for yourself. And seeing yourself clearly as well, seeing your own strengths and seeing who you are in the world and how that adds to the life that you are building. So it's about seeing yourself clearly, seeing your future clearly, and knowing what you're working towards, and really igniting that light. And I think, again, that's just such a perfect match, the third eye and the idea of igniting your light. Now, the final chakra is the crown chakra, which I mentioned is really about connecting to source and feeling connected spiritually, and also about your thoughts as well, and how, your thoughts are serving you. And for me, I didn't mention this one earlier because it wasn't until I was exploring the connection between the lighthouse and the chakras, and I had 6 components already of the lighthouse, and as I said, they unfolded for me in the exact order that they appear as chakras as well. So that connection was just too synchronistic to ignore. I had to explore it, but I hadn't really considered the idea of that spiritual connection with the lighthouse. And it wasn't until I worked on building the other 6 components that I really began to see that connection. And for me, it's that idea that you are a part of something that's bigger than you, and that the universe does have your back, and you can choose to have that trust and faith. And so I've added the sky as the final component, and that's really just unfolded to me as I've been exploring this further. And it actually was as I finished writing the rest of the book, and I was working on the final chapter, the conclusion of the book, that I was writing about this idea of feeling like you're the servant of something bigger than you. You're a part of something that's bigger than you. That it came to me that that's really that connection to the crown chakra. And so I call it the sky because I just think you can, just tilt your head up and look at that big sky above and be reminded of it. So yeah, that idea that you are actually a channel for light. You're a vehicle for the light to flow through you, and that light, and you're part of something that's much bigger than you. So depending on where other people are at in their journey, you might already have, made that connection already to the work that you're doing and the life you're building, and that idea of the crown chakra of feeling spiritually connected. For me, it didn't come about until I really worked on the other parts of my lighthouse. And that actually fits with the whole chakra practice as well. You can't really, open and clear your higher chakras if your lower chakras aren't aligned and clear and balanced. So, if you're finding it hard, for instance, to express and speak your truth and share things with others, you need to go back and feel really safe and secure and like you belong here. And you need to, work through whatever has you feeling stuck. And you need to back yourself first and build up your confidence. And you need to do things from a place of love. And when you have those other components of the lighthouse in place, it's easier to speak up and speak out. And that matches very well with chakra practice as well. So that is a very quick introduction to the link between the lighthouse components and the chakra components, the chakras. As I said, this is something that just kind of unfolded for me, and all of this information about how they link just kind of came through me one day when I was exploring the chakras and learning about them. And it's not something that I ever planned to happen, but once I realized that it did, I thought, well, what can we do with this information? What, difference could this make? And for me, what it meant was that in my own spiritual practice that I was working on building for the first time ever, which was, I was exploring meditation. I had just done this Reiki, and so I was doing self-Reiki, and I was exploring this idea of the chakras and healing, opening, balancing and aligning the chakras, grounding myself and connecting to myself and connecting to that concept of source. And so I've been working on that, and it's been fantastic. But once I added in the components of the lighthouse and what I teach and the lessons that I feel we're here to learn and what we're here to build, what that did for me was add in this level of practicality to my practice, sort of this concrete element that I could anchor into. So even as I would sit and meditate and my mind would be wandering, instead, what I would do, and what I still do, is use the lessons of the lighthouse to remind me as I do that meditation and that practice of what I'm here to do. And that helps me feel really anchored in. And I can use, positive affirmations. I can ask questions. I can check in with myself and feel, how open and aligned I feel, or do I feel stuck and blocked? And I can use it as a bit of a check system to check in with myself. So that's been great for me, and that's why I wanted to share it with others, because I think that, if you're here doing the work and you're working on all of these things, that the lighthouse represents, then it's a great way to add that in to any spiritual practice you're building. So if you already have a spiritual practice, you can add in the messages of the lighthouse for each thing and use them just to check in with yourself and create that alignment and that feeling of ignited and grounded. If you don't, like I didn't, you can actually use this knowledge to create your own practice. And just simply by checking in these 7 areas of your body, as well as the 7 areas of the lighthouse, you can create your own practice to help you, build your mindset, to help you get unstuck, to help you take action. And that's really, at the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to be able to act on the stuff that we love and act on what we want in our life. So that is why I wanted to share those ideas with you, because I think that, some of us can struggle to, do the work, and some of us can struggle to create a daily practice or create a mindset practice that works for us. And really, this is permission to have a play and bring in some different elements that really connect with you. So what I've found for me is that creating my own practice that links both the chakras and the lighthouse has really helped me to have more clarity of what I want and what I'm working towards and why, and feeling really ignited so that I've got the energy and the drive to go for it. But it's also helped in that idea, again, of when you change your energy, you can change your life or your business, because what it's brought for me is a lot of awareness of where I'm feeling stuck or blocked, or things that I need to work through or heal or shift in some way. And then I can take the steps to do that. So it really, really brings you again into that idea of understanding and awareness. And the thing is that when we do feel like aligned and clear and open, and like all of those components are working together, we can take action. We can actually do what we've set out to do. And we can feel really anchored in to whatever our intention is and actually take steps forward, take real progress forward. For me, this has been really empowering because I can easily do it every day. I can go through my own little system of checking each of the components of the lighthouse, each of the chakras, and I can start shifting things right away when I see and I feel and I'm aware that there are places where I don't feel 100% aligned, or I don't feel like I've got that part sort of sorted and figured out. So it's really, like I said, about shifting things. It's about clearing and healing and building your mindset up and getting yourself unstuck so that you can deal with whatever comes up and you can take action. So that is why I encourage you to possibly explore either the chakras or the components of the lighthouse, or both, as a way to build up your own daily practice. Now, on that note, I will mention that there is, a lot more that I've been working on with this connection. I've got, with each of the components of the lighthouse and how they relate to the chakras and what the chakras can teach us, I've got a really wonderful system for the lighthouse chakra practice, which is really practical and also, very inspiring and has a lovely energy to it. So it's got that both, energetic and practical aspect of it. But it's really actionable, because knowing what we know about these 7 components and the 7 chakras, we actually then can figure out what action we need to take. We can really understand and be aware of the signs of anything that's got us stuck, any blocks that we have, and we can learn how to clear that stuff. And that's what adding in the chakras has done. It's created a whole nother level of understanding, awareness, and actionability to the lighthouse. Plus, there's a lot of great stuff like oils and crystals and affirmations and different ways of activating the chakras and the components of the lighthouse. And I also do a really cool thing where I call in, different keepers, different lighthouse keepers for each component, as a really wonderful visual, concrete way to make this practice both energetic and practical. So I am going to teach the full gambit of the lighthouse practice in June in a new little action-taking month group that I'm creating. So I would like to invite anybody who's here watching today to join us for the month of June. If you like the idea of creating that daily practice, a mindset practice, a spiritual practice, just a simply unstucking practice where you can go through the 7 components and use that to help you move forward, take action, make progress, get unstuck, clear whatever is holding you back. I would love to teach that to you, and I would love to invite you into our little group for the month of June. You can find that at KarenGunton.com and click on the button at the top that says June, and you can find out a bit more about what we're doing. I want that month to be really useful to people, and my goal is that we can take inspired, courageous action and actually take steps forward with whatever intention we have. So I invite you to come along with an intention, with a goal, a project you're working on, something you want clarity on, something you want to take action with. We're going to start out by doing a group intention session, which is a really beautiful, both practical and intuitive session that I've been doing in the Lighthouse Revolution community over the last month, and I've had some amazing feedback about how valuable that's been. We're going to do a teaching session all about this whole lighthouse practice and get into much further depth of the 7 components of the lighthouse and how we can actually use each one to learn how to clear any blocks, take action, and feel really ignited and energized to go forward with our plans. I've also got a great Q&A interview with a lovely Carrie Rowett, who is a kinesiologist, and she's sharing information around clearing any stuckness that we have and getting aligned with our goals, 100% alignment, so we can actually move forward and make progress. And we're also going to talk about that idea of creating your own, using what we've learned, using what we've shared to create your own little daily practice for a mindset practice and unstucking practice, something that really suits you, something that you can do each day or each time you sit down to work on something new. So I would like to invite you to come along and join for that. If you have any questions about that or what we're going to be doing in that month of June, I'd be happy to chat with you about it. Really what I want to create is a safe place for us to hang out, to talk about the stuff that has us feeling stuck and to work through it so we can take action and we can make progress and we can support one another and be accountable and have some fun together. So that's what my big dream is for the month of June, and I would love to invite you to come around. Thank you. Thank you for joining in to hear more about that link between the chakras and the lighthouse, the components of the lighthouse. If you have any questions about that, I'm, very happy to answer. I realize that I went through that connection quite quickly. There's obviously much more to both the lighthouse and also the chakras, but I really did want to just kind of touch base and give an introduction on what that connection is all about. And if you're curious to know more, I would love to share more with you. And if you would like to come along and work together to take action in the month of June, I would love to have you there with us in the group. So thank you for joining in today to this spotlight session on the Lighthouse Chakra practice. Do let me know if you have any questions. The Lighthouse Revolution community on Facebook is always open to you, and I hang out there all the time, and I am an open book. I will answer any question that you have. So just search for #LighthouseRevolution on Facebook. You will find us there, and I would love for you to pop over and say hello. All right, I'm going to leave us there, and for anybody who is listening to this recording, you are very, very welcome to come and ask me anything in the Facebook group. If you're hanging out live, I'm going to hang out here for a few more minutes, and I am very happy to chat, answer questions, and help you with whatever you're feeling like you're ready to take action on today. All right, thank you so much for joining. Mwah. Keep shining.